Hey, good after lunch. This is Coach Bill with Weight Loss Made Easy. Hope everybody's having a great, what is it today? What is it today? Tuesday?
Thursday.
Tuesday.
No.
Wednesday. No, this is Wednesday. See, I've lost track.
Wednesday.
But anyway, guys, hope everybody's having a great day so far. It's going to be super warm here in Temecula. I think we're going to hit over 100. But today, guys, our topic for today is how Coach Bill lowers his cortisol level when exercising and stay in fat burning in a fasted state. And a lot of people out there, including some of you weekend warriors and so on, you guys may not understand that cortisol is very important when it comes to burning fat, which most people think as cortisol as being the enemy, and it is not the enemy. It's actually something that we need to survive. Now, those of you that may not follow me, I've talked about cortisol, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and talked about how important it is for adding lean muscle because it helps to activate certain hormones that will build muscle under certain circumstances. But we weren't giving cortisol, the hormone cortisol, just to cause issues or to cause us to gain fat. It's known as your fight and flight hormone. It can basically actually help you save your life in certain circumstances. It's like our ancestors who had to gather, or they had to go out and hunt for food. Well, not only were they hunting for food, of course there were other animals hunting for them. And so if you get into a situation where you need to think very quickly and make a decision when your life is threatened, that is what cortisol is designed to do. So you can see how important it is. It also is the hormone that when you're very, very stressed out, cortisol is excreted, and when it's combined with another hormone, that is when the issue begins as far as weight loss. And also, cortisol can also be elevated too high under particular stress situations that also can cause medical issues too. So basically you have to control it. And and I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about how to control your stress levels. See, stress is what elevates cortisol. Relaxing music, relaxing thoughts. A lot of people like to wake up early in the morning, read their Bibles. That helps them relax also. But you got to learn how to control your stress to keep your cortisol at a safe level. But what I'm going to talk about today, guys, is how Emily and I control our cortisol level or our stress level when we're exercising. So for those of you that would like to know more about this, you can go to my YouTube channel. You can type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it. There'll be videos about what I'm talking about, and it'll be more specific. There's actually a blog post that I posted that'll be with this video when I post it on YouTube that it will explain more about it. But you guys need to understand, those of you that are exercising, that you are producing cortisol when you exercise. Remember what I said, cortisol is produced by stress. So obviously when you're training hard, you're stressing the body. But what makes cortisol an issue is when you combine it with another hormone that is known to store fat. Okay? And so what Emily and I do while we're training, we just got done today doing our interval training, strength training. So what do we do to drop or lower our cortisol level so that we don't have an issue when we combine it with the hormone that is known to store fat, and that hormone is insulin. Now, insulin is an issue when it's spiked throughout the day continually. Insulin comes from sugar or glucose or carbohydrates. So when you are consuming carbohydrates, you are spiking, you are raising your insulin level, and if you're consuming the wrong kind and too much all the time, you're spiking it. So what happens is when you're combining, so when you're doing a post-meal or an after-exercise meal and you're consuming a lot of carbohydrates during that meal and your cortisol level is up there because of you exercising, that's when the issue starts. That's when your body is going to actually store fat, and it's going to throw you out of fat burning or throw you out, which most of you have heard me talk about, ketosis. Those of you that don't know what ketosis is, that's where we want to be to burn our own body fat. Okay? I'm going to say it again. We want to burn our own stored body fat. So we're going after the stored body fat, but we want to continually to burn that. And by you having a high carb meal right after your exercise and your cortisol is still up high, that's an issue. Okay? And so how do Emily and I actually lower our cortisol first to a certain level so that when we do have our first meal, it's not going to throw us out of ketosis? Well, what we do is, like today, I'll explain to you, I'll give you an example of what we're doing today, what we do most every day when we're training hard. The first thing we do when I get home, we'll have organic, either chicken bone broth, or we're going to have beef bone broth. Now, there's no carbohydrates in the bone broth, but what we're doing is we are going to get our gut ready by having the bone broth. It's not only going to get our gut ready to consume or to take on solid food, and so so the hydrochloric acid that you need to digest, or digestive juices you need to digest the food, by doing the bone broth, which is very easy on the stomach, is going to actually get it ready and get the juices in there so that when you do have your solid food. Now we're obviously exercising in a fasted state, and we're doing that for many health reasons, and we're also doing it because it helps us to produce more growth hormones to build lean muscle. It helps us to burn more body fat. We're burning our own body fat. You have a pre-meal before you exercise, you're no longer burning your own body fat, okay? You're no longer putting yourself in therapeutic ketosis or autophagy, which both of those are known to increase your growth hormones. For men, 2,000% higher. For women, 1,300% higher to add lean muscle. Obviously, when you add lean muscle, you're going to burn more body fat. Plus, we're looking at the anti-aging properties of being in a fasted state when we're exercising, besides all the health benefits. So you see how important it is to be able to work out in a fasted state, okay? But what we do is, by doing bone broth first and then waiting about 45 minutes before we have our solid meal, we're giving our cortisol a chance to get lower, to put it in a safe baseline. Okay, so that way we're not going to, and by eating a high fat, very low carb first meal, we're not going to spike our insulin up way high either. So we're going to keep ourselves in nutritional ketosis even though we've had our first meal. Now, those of you may be thinking, well, what if I break my fast with strictly high fat and meat and a very low carb meal? Will that still cause an issue if my cortisol is high? Yes, it will. The reasoning is that any foods at all, doesn't matter what it is, meat or bone broth or whatever, any food at all will cause a rise in your insulin level. And so just before you, right after you're done exercising, you need to do a moderate amount of something very, very lean. A lean meat or a lean chicken, or it has the least amount of fat in it, like the bone broth. Bone broth is excellent. We also have a cocktail that we use that has ginger, sea salt, hydrogen-rich water, and apple cider vinegar that we mix up, that is also good to consume 45 minutes before you have your first main meal after you've exercised or fasting. And that will also start to lower the cortisol level. But we're not eating right after we're done working out either. We're not actually having a protein drink or a recovery drink right after we're done exercising. It takes us a half hour, sometimes 35 minutes to get home for us to actually have the bone broth. So then we're able to, that cortisol level is starting to drop. And so that's how I actually will lower our cortisol level first, get it in a safe position or a base, to where when we do have food after we're done working out, we give our cortisol level a chance to lower itself. That's what you're looking to do, guys. So you guys, like I said, you can go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it. There'll be other health videos. There'll be actually a blog post that will explain a little bit more about what I'm talking about. If you're looking for any kind of coaching, you can go to, we have a 60-day online coaching program also. Message me and I'll send you the info on that, where you're going to learn all the different aspects of health and how to get through roadblocks or plateaus. Also, if you're looking you want to know more about the hydrogen-rich water and want to know how you can sample it, message me also. Okay, guys, hope you saw some value in this. See you guys at the next video. Have a great day. Bye.